share with you some of the paintings and pieces of art that I've made in the last couple of months. So I moved house in when was it, October, end of September, October, and I've got a new studio upstairs in my place and I love it, and I just wanted to share with you some of the bits and pieces, some of the paintings that I've made. So to start with, I've got this piece, which I've kind of gone for, like, I enjoy making quite abstract works as well as quite expressive pieces. So this is one of the abstract pieces, which I feel has come from sort of allowing paint to flow, allowing paint to drip, and working in quite a playful sort of way. So there was not any sort of design kind of going into it or anything like that. I've been using sort of a combination of acrylic paints with maybe some more kind of liquefied paints as well, like the fluid type paints. So there's a sense of kind of using palette knife in using a paintbrush, allowing paint to drip as well. And this is about, what's the size is this? 16 inches square, 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. Everything that I'm showing you today is is on canvas, but it's more what I wanted to kind of do was to maybe help myself to kind of clarify what I'm aiming for in painting, but also to share kind of some of my reasons for painting, and to think about, like, some of what makes my stuff let's say particular to me, and particular, like, what makes me feel sort of passionate about it. So recently I've got a couple of paintings that have been from landscapes as inspiration, and these particular ones weren't created using a photograph or using kind of a starting point, but just purely from sort of my memory of different styles of landscapes and different shapes and patterns within the mountains and within the hillscapes. I love hiking and I love being outside, so actually trying to capture the energy of the hill and of the landscape, and like areas that are nearby with like lots of different expressive marks versus maybe a bit of a mountain or hill in the background that's got kind of a bit of a slight amount of depth on. So these are the most recent pieces. I really enjoyed making these as well, like using a bit of what's it called, like acrylic painting pens as well as the paints. So this large piece, which you can see, I'm going to switch this round. It's actually really hard to see, like, on this screen. I'm actually really proud of this one because with this one, I started this when I first moved up here, and I live in a bungalow. When I first moved up here, and I started it, and it was one of the first paintings that I like touched completely, and I wanted to kind of get a bit of a earthly vibe, like combining natural forms like leaves and plants and everything with some patterns and with some expressive qualities. So I started off drawing leaves and different shapes of bark and tree trunks and things like that, and then gradually over various kind of amounts of sittings, times that I've kind of gone back and revisited this painting, it's built up in lots and lots of layers. So I don't know, like, if it's worth me going a bit closer. So where were we going? So, like, down here, actually I think this might be upside down, but with abstract work it maybe works that way as well. So there's like the tree trunks here, layers of trees, like parts of sort of leaves, bits of texture that have gone into there, even though it's fairly flat in texture. I'm kind of going for like some sort of brush strokes. So it's one that I feel really pleased about. One I feel quite pleased about with that. And actually sometimes when like lots of painters will keep dipping in and out of making their art, and with that sometimes it's like creating a piece and straight away you know that it's going to be working. Other times it's kind of going back and forward and almost having a bit of a dialogue with the painting, which comes up a lot for as sort of an art therapy concept, but having that sort of dialogue with the art, which is Sean McNiff, American art therapist, talks about that in his work, where you're not just creating a piece of art and then talking about it, but you would be interacting with the art and having like sort of like an inner conversation with the art, thinking, oh, where might you go with this, and what might you do, and what feelings are coming up with this, and that being sometimes that being a bit uncomfortable and feeling a bit awkward. It's like, oh, I'm not feeling how this painting is going, but maybe we need to put this aside for now and go back to it. So we've got some of the little paintings, and I've put these on much smaller canvases. So I really enjoyed sort of recently going a bit smaller. So typically I've as sort of a painter, now that I've been getting into painting, my work's been really big. So like that's probably about maybe 1 meter in height, but then maybe some that have been like 30 centimeter range, but then these, that's just 10 centimeters. So I really enjoyed sort of keeping things a bit smaller. So and some of these, in the same way that I described those other landscapes, working from that sort of inspiration from the land and from the environment of going out and hiking and getting the sort of atmosphere of the outdoors, in order to then produce something that feels quite true to the atmosphere of the outdoors, not necessarily true to the aesthetics of it and true to life, but just getting that sort of vibe. So we've got another one here, and then forgetting. So this one's not finished yet. I've got I feel like it has something not quite going on there. So I started off with this being a landscape, and then it made me think about, I was thinking about how I was expressing my feelings at the time. So I was thinking, oh, actually I'm using art to express my feelings. I was feeling a little bit lonely and a little bit lost at the time, and it made me think about the words that are often said of feeling lonely in a crowd. And so actually it made me think, yeah, actually it'd be lonely in a crowd. I wonder what that would look like in a picture. So I've added these sort of figures in there, and just trying to capture that energy of the crowd versus the sort of block shape of a silhouette of sort of me maybe feeling lonely, or somebody else feeling lonely, me being able to sort of show a bit of some resonance for other people, that this time of year, like Christmas time, like in that middle period between Christmas and New Year, like feeling a bit stuck and a bit kind of lost, and some of those feelings that have come up from the COVID experience of lockdown and everything like that sort of come up. So sometimes like feelings can surface in the art. So what I'm hoping to do with this piece is bring in a little bit more of some stronger lines, I would say, maybe some bolder lines, and I think like I feel like sort of an extra layer. So in the same way with my larger piece, it's going to be, I'll revisit that, and then maybe I don't think it's going to change that much. Like that's one where I don't think it's going to change that much, but I think it certainly needs something sort of coming up here and around. And yeah, so that's where I'm up to just now. Yes, it feels like I'm quite excited about how I've got a special space where I can create art, and what that means for me is that I can sort of spend a lot more time making art and make some commissions as well, because there's going to be more like room to be working on a few pieces at once, which is really fun. But also it gives me opportunities to maybe film a little bit more. I'm actually downstairs, not in the studio now, but film a little bit more and maybe demonstrate some techniques for people. So if there's any particular art techniques that you'd like to hear about, or sort of see if there's anything that you think that you'd like to sort of learn about, then I am happy to do some demonstrations, and yeah, working with that. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe this video, and any suggestions that you have about things that you would like to see on my channel, I'm really open to that, as long as it aligns with my sort of values and my interests. So as I say in the description, we're called Creative Living, so we've got being creative and active, and the whole point of that is that there's twofold things, three really. The active stuff, it's like I love sort of going out on hikes and being outside in the wild and just kind of feeling energized, and I think that is really good for people's mental health for a start, and being really actively aware of the mind and the body and taking action on particular goals, but also that creative side. So myself as an artist, as well as myself as an art therapist, and all that entails, because there's so much overlap with lots of different things and lots of different techniques and skills that there's potential to share with. So thanks so much, and it's coming to the end of the year, so have a lovely new year, and I will see you soon. Follow for more videos. Click to the next video for some tips about my kind of tips about some goal setting for 2022, and I'm going to be like producing some like more regular videos to share my art on a more regular basis, so keep a watch out. Thank you, and bye bye.